Today we're going to be taking a look at the extended player animations mod. Alright, so this is something I've been waiting a long time to do, and I've been seeing this on the workshop. I'm sure you guys might have as well. Throughout the past few weeks, I've been seeing this periodically appear on the workshop, and it's a mod that adds new animations, not only for yourself, but also for other developers to make mods upon. And in fact, that's exactly why we're even doing this video, but I didn't realize that this mod adds new animations to just your everyday tasks, so you don't even need to download anything else. But if you do, you're going to be delighted with some sick looking animations. For instance, the whole reason why we're even doing this mod, well, is the evade roll. And this is something that does require the extended player animations mod, but there's so much more to this extended player animations mod that meets the eye. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. This is a mini mod showcase, so let's go ahead and take a deep dive at exactly what animations this mod adds. Alright, so before we go into that, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the mod that does require this to work. And this is not the only one, but here's what it looks like in first person. You know, nothing too crazy, it's just a roll. But of course in third person, well, it looks so much better. So we've seen rolling mods before, but they've only really worked in, well, first person. Also, the roll is dictated by your speed. So if your initial speed is slow, like the crouch here, you can see that we're not really moving much. In fact, if you even walk slower and do it, the roll doesn't even really commence. And then, obviously, just walking normally, we do kind of a bit of a dash. And you can do this side to side too, so you don't need to be going back and forth. And then, of course, going full sprint, we travel, honestly, a pretty immense distance. So this is going to be super handy if you're fighting bosses or something. In fact, why don't we go ahead and go into third person here? So that grenade, I mean, that would be really good to toss back if only I had a mod that could do that. But obviously, we don't need to do that. We can simply dodge roll out of the way. Now, there's a bit of a problem, though. When we do dodge roll, well, let me turn God mode off real quick. We're still taking damage. So even though we're rolling out of the way, it's not perfect because, again, we're taking that damage. And by the way, check this out. If you're rolling backwards, you get a different animation. And then, obviously, the same for going side to side as well. I just thought that was pretty neat. So, again, we are able to dodge, well, a lot of the fire because Combine, no offense to them, are really bad at shooting. But what if we could make this more Souls-like? And that is exactly what this command does. So typing this in, it's obviously off by default. Putting a 1 after it, we can now enable, well, iframes. So now when we're getting shot, obviously, you know, taking damage sucks. Now we can roll and completely mitigate the damage while we're in the roll animation. Now, obviously, there's mixed results when you're being shot by 4 different soldiers. I take that back 5, but the biggest thing is the time in between the rolls. And that is kind of an issue because we're obviously vulnerable in that period. If you are firing back, it's not going to be that big of an issue. But the thing I think the roll is going to be useful for is for dodging things like grenades. In fact, let's go ahead and see how that works here. I don't know if I took damage. I'm going to have to go back and check that out. But the good thing is we lived. And I imagine something like that would have definitely killed us. Alright, but like I said, the biggest issue with this is that we're not able to roll fast enough. So let's fix that. Alright, so using this command, we have lowered the cooldown from 1 second to 0.1 seconds. And what does that look like? Not really like a roll anymore. Okay, so obviously this is pretty goofy. And if we keep spamming this, I mean, theoretically we're invincible, but it's safe to say that the roll's not meant to be used that quickly. Now, of course, there is other commands like power. Let's just go 50. All right, we can't roll anymore. Something tells me we definitely screwed up somewhere. All right, let's go ahead and make it 5. So I think that does make you roll further. Yes, it does. So the higher the power, the farther you're going to roll, which again could have mixed results. As we can see, that looks pretty goofy. But this can kind of go the other way. So let's say you wanted to make it even less. Well, let's go 0.3. All right, now we roll. We can see we don't really travel that far. And I noticed that, you know, my rolling, I felt like I was kind of rolling a little, like, you know, too far. Although I gotta say this is probably a little too low. All right, 0.6. There we go. Okay, this is definitely a lot nicer looking. So It's not as, like, skippy looking. I mean, obviously, we have the cooldown all the way down, so that's why it looks like that. But overall, I think this is a really cool mod and definitely does add to the immersion. So now we're going to crank the immersion up to 11. So what does the extended player animation mod really do? Well, every time you whip out a weapon now, you're going to have a much slower, more methodical animation play out. So every time you pull your gun out, the reloads, I don't know if those change, but definitely when you bring the guns out, it looks more like the standard civilian NPC animation. And I gotta say, it looks pretty good. Most weapons do look similar. However, the grenade looks pretty cool, and the rocket launcher, you kind of like pull it out from your back. Super cool. Alright, so what about explosives? And you're gonna notice your character kind of reacts to explosions. They'll kind of like recoil. Alright, so just to get a better idea of what this looks like. Alright, well that didn't help at all. I'm pretty sure you guys get the point though. Alright, and now we're going to talk about something which is really cool, guys. Even the barnacle got a bit of an upgrade. So now when you're being latched on, you'll have this little animation play out. And then, of course, when you do eventually whack the barnacle, you'll even get an animation of it puking on you, which I find doesn't always work. I think you do have to have a two-handed weapon. Alright, so I decided to move the barnacle because I was having issues actually getting the animation to play out. Right there. You can see how he kind of like wipes his face. Pretty damn cool. And all of this is really just the beginning. I'm sure there's a bunch of other animations that I missed, but the fact is, there's even more animations that developers can use for their own mods, and obviously, that's what this rolling mod does. So guys, let me know what you think about this down below. I love any kind of mod that adds new realism to Garry's mod. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. You can leave a like, subscribe. Links will be in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, farewell.